Ethan looked out of the small window of his spaceship, watching as the glowing blue and green planet drew closer. His heart pounded with excitement. This was his first time visiting an alien world, and the mission was one of peace and discovery. The humans had been in contact with the alien race, the Valorians, for only a few short years. Both species wanted to learn more about each other, and Ethan was part of the team chosen for this important diplomatic journey. The spaceship gently landed in a large clearing, surrounded by tall, slender trees with shimmering leaves. As the door opened, Ethan took a deep breath, calming himself before stepping onto the planet's surface. The air smelled fresh and slightly sweet, different from Earth's, but welcoming. Behind him, his teammates began to follow, carrying equipment and gifts meant for their host. In front of Ethan stood a group of Valorians. They were tall and graceful, with smooth, pale blue skin and large, deep eyes. Their appearance was striking yet gentle, creating a sense of calm. Each wore flowing robes that shimmered in shades of white and silver under the alien sun. One Valorian stepped forward. "Welcome, humans," she said softly, her voice musical and soothing. "I am Allura, and I will be your guide." Ethan immediately felt drawn to her. There was something about the way Allura moved, fluid and elegant, that captured his attention. She was obviously a figure of authority among her people, confident yet kind. "Thank you, Allura," Ethan said warmly. "We are excited and honored to be here." Allura nodded slowly, her large eyes studying Ethan closely. "Please follow me," she said gently. "I will show you where you will stay." The group walked through a beautiful pathway lined with soft, glowing plants. Ethan could not help but glance repeatedly at Allura as they walked. He found himself wondering about her life, her thoughts, and how different their worlds must be. As they reached a large structure made of crystal-like material, Allura turned to face them. "This will be your home while you are here. Feel free to explore, but please ask if you have questions." Ethan stepped closer to her, curiosity filling him. "Allura, may I ask you a question now?" "Of course," she replied calmly, her eyes gently meeting his. "What is most important to your people?" Ethan asked softly. He genuinely wanted to understand their host better, hoping to make the most of their time here. Allura paused for a moment. "Thoughtful. Harmony," she answered finally. "We value harmony above all. Balance in our lives, our emotions, and our world is essential." "That's beautiful," Ethan said, smiling gently. Allura tilted her head slightly, appearing intrigued by his reaction. "And what about your people, Ethan? What do humans value most?" "We value connection," Ethan explained. "Humans thrive when we share, when we bond. Our strength comes from understanding and supporting one another." Allura's eyes sparkled softly, reflecting the gentle sunlight. "That is an interesting perspective. Perhaps we have more in common than we realize." For the rest of the day, Ethan and his team settled into their new surroundings, guided by Allura and other Valorians. Ethan spent as much time as possible learning from Allura, asking questions and sharing stories from Earth. Each moment spent with her felt special, like he was gaining something precious. That evening, Ethan sat alone outside the crystal structure, gazing up at the unfamiliar stars. He heard soft footsteps approaching and turned to see Allura standing beside him. "You cannot sleep?" she asked softly. "I find your world fascinating," Ethan replied quietly. "It's peaceful and beautiful." Allura looked up at the sky alongside him. "Your world must also be beautiful. You speak of it with great fondness." "It is," Ethan agreed. "But there's something uniquely captivating here." "Captivating?" Allura repeated the word thoughtfully. "I do not fully understand." Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth grow inside him. "It means it holds my attention completely, that I find it very special." Allura nodded slowly, her gaze thoughtful and distant. "I see. Thank you for explaining." They sat quietly together, enjoying the peaceful night. Ethan felt deeply grateful for this moment of calm and connection. He was intrigued by Allura, eager to learn more about her. Already, he felt that this mission was changing him in ways he hadn't anticipated. As he finally returned to his quarters, Ethan's mind was filled with thoughts of the day and the mysterious, elegant alien who had captured his attention. Tomorrow promised more discovery, more wonder, and perhaps the deepening of a unique bond between two different worlds. The next morning, Ethan woke early, feeling refreshed and eager to explore more of Allura's world. The gentle sunlight streamed through the crystal-like walls, creating patterns of soft colors in the room. After dressing quickly, he joined his team for breakfast, where they discussed plans for the day. Allura entered the room quietly, instantly drawing everyone's attention. She moved with her usual grace and gave a gentle smile. "Today, we shall visit the Science Center," she announced. "There, you will see our research and learn about our technology." Ethan felt a surge of excitement. He had always been fascinated by science, and the chance to see alien technology up close thrilled him. "Thank you, Allura," he said warmly. "Where?" Eager to see it, she nodded and led the group outside. They followed a path that wound through gardens filled with plants unlike anything on Earth. Ethan admired the tall, delicate trees and vibrant flowers, amazed by their colors and shapes. Allura noticed his interest and slowed her pace to walk beside him. "Do you enjoy our plants?" she asked gently. "They're incredible," Ethan replied. "I've never seen anything like them." Allura smiled softly. "Our plants help maintain the harmony we value so much. Each one plays a role in keeping the balance." "It's impressive," Ethan said sincerely. "Harmony seems to define everything here." "Indeed," Allura said thoughtfully. "It is at the heart of all we do." Soon they arrived at the Science Center, a large, transparent building glowing gently in the sunlight. Inside, the center was filled with strange yet beautiful equipment. Screens displayed complex symbols, and holographic images floated in the pulley air, showing data and images of Valorian projects. Allura guided Ethan and his team through the different sections, explaining their work clearly and patiently. She showed them technology used to heal injuries instantly, machines that created food without harming nature, and devices that allowed instant communication across vast distances. Ethan listened carefully, impressed by the advancements and how gently the Valorians used their powerful technology. They clearly took great care not to upset the balance they cherished. He began to understand Allura's culture even more deeply. While the team explored independently, Ethan noticed Allura quietly observing one of the holographic images. Approaching her softly, he saw the image depicted a planet unlike the lush beauty of her home world. "What planet is that?" Ethan asked curiously. Allura looked slightly surprised at his approach, but recovered quickly. "It is an uninhabited world we study," she explained. "Its conditions are harsh, yet we learn much from it. Even in a harsh environment, there's something to learn," Ethan noted thoughtfully. "Exactly," Allura said, her eyes glowing softly. "Understanding difficult conditions helps us protect our own balance and harmony." They stood silently, sharing the moment. Ethan felt strangely comfortable in her presence, finding himself drawn to her wisdom and calm demeanor. Later, Allura led them to a room with a large table where refreshments were served. Ethan tasted the Valorian food and was surprised by its pleasant flavors. It was subtly sweet, fresh, and nutritious. "This food is wonderful," Ethan complimented genuinely. "Thank you for sharing it with us." Allura gave another gentle smile. "Sharing is part of harmony," she explained simply. "It builds understanding." After eating, Allura invited Ethan to join her outside. They walked through another garden, quieter and more peaceful. Here, the plants were smaller, delicate, and aromatic. Ethan inhaled deeply, feeling peaceful and relaxed. "This garden is special," Allura said softly. "It is designed to help us think clearly and calm our emotions." "I can feel it," Ethan admitted. "It's incredibly calming." Allura paused, looking at Ethan with curiosity. "You show great respect for our ways," she said gently. Why do you do so? Ethan thought carefully before replying. Because I genuinely want to understand your people. Respecting your ways feels natural when learning about someone new. Allura studied him silently, her expression thoughtful. Your way of connecting is intriguing. Perhaps there's much we can learn from each other. I believe so, Ethan agreed sincerely. As they returned to the others, Ethan felt closer to Allura. Each conversation seemed to strengthen the bond between them. It was unexpected, yet wonderful, and Ethan eagerly looked forward to discovering more about the mysterious, beautiful alien woman who was becoming an important part of his journey. Ethan woke the next morning feeling more energized than ever. Each day brought him new understanding and excitement about Valorian culture, and, in particular, his growing friendship with Allura. After a quick breakfast with his team, he stepped outside, hoping to find Allura waiting. She stood near the gardens, speaking with another Valorian. When she saw Ethan approaching, she turned and greeted him with a warm, gentle smile. "Good morning, Ethan," she said softly. "Are you ready for today's exploration?" "Absolutely," Ethan replied enthusiastically. "Where are we going?" "A nearby moon," Allura explained. "We use it for scientific research. Its landscapes are different from here, more challenging but fascinating." Ethan's heart raced with anticipation. Visiting an alien moon sounded incredible. Soon, they boarded a sleek Valorian shuttle designed for quick and quiet travel. Inside, the shuttle was comfortable and spacious, equipped with windows showing spectacular views of space. As the shuttle lifted off and sped toward the moon, Ethan marveled at the endless stars outside. "It's beautiful," he murmured, unable to hide his amazement. Allura nodded gently. "Space is full of wonders. Yet it also teaches humility, reminding us how small we truly are." When the shuttle landed smoothly on the moon's rocky surface, Ethan was captivated by the view. The landscape stretched far, filled with striking colors and formations. Strange rocks glittered beneath the bright glow of the nearby sun, creating an otherworldly beauty. Allura guided Ethan and his team toward a scientific outpost built into a natural rock formation. Inside, it was cool and quiet, with equipment softly humming as it gathered data. "We study geological formations here," Allura explained, showing Ethan holographic displays of the moon's surface. "This moon helps us understand the extremes nature can create." While exploring the outpost, Ethan noticed a path leading outside again. Curious, he stepped out onto a small platform overlooking an enormous, breathtaking canyon. The view was so magnificent it made him stop completely. He stood quietly, absorbing the stunning scene. Moments later, Allura joined him. She stood beside Ethan, also admiring the view. For a long while, neither spoke, content simply to share the peaceful moment. Ethan finally broke the silence softly. "Allura, I've seen many incredible places, but none have felt as special as this." Allura looked at Ethan, her large eyes thoughtful. "Why do you feel this way, Ethan?" Ethan turned to face her directly, sincerity in his eyes. "Because I'm here with you," he replied gently. "You make this place special." Allura seemed to pause, surprised by Ethan's honesty. She remained quiet, her expression unreadable. Encouraged by her calm silence, Ethan continued. "You are intelligent kind, and your presence feels peaceful," he explained softly. "Most of all, Allura, you're beautiful." As soon as the words left Ethan's lips, Allura froze completely. Her body became rigid, her eyes wide, staring straight ahead without blinking. Ethan felt a sudden wave of panic, realizing something was terribly wrong. "Allura?" he said worriedly, gently touching her arm. She did not respond. "Allura, what's happening?" "Please answer me." Alarmed, Ethan quickly contacted the team and explained the situation. Within minutes, other Valorians arrived, moving with urgency but calm efficiency. One gently explained to Ethan what had happened. "Our people have strict rules about openly expressing certain emotions," the Valorian said. Telling someone they are beautiful can trigger a powerful emotional response, causing temporary paralysis. Ethan's heart sank. "I'm so sorry," he said, desperately. "I didn't know. I never meant to harm her." The Valorian nodded reassuringly. "We know you meant no harm, Ethan. It was a misunderstanding. But Allura will need time and special care to recover." Filled with regret, Ethan watched helplessly as Allura was carefully transported back to the shuttle. The ride back was quiet, Ethan's thoughts heavy with worry and guilt. His intention had been pure, but he had accidentally caused harm. When they returned, Ethan stayed by Allura's side, determined to make amends. Her people assured him she would recover, but Ethan knew it was his responsibility to understand and fix his mistake. He spent the evening researching Valorian culture deeply, learning everything he could about their emotional boundaries and reactions. Ethan promised himself he would never again make such a mistake. Determined to help Allura and regain her trust as night fell, Ethan remained near Allura's quarters, hoping to speak with her when she recovered. He felt deeply connected to her, and vowed silently to rebuild the harmony he had unintentionally disrupted. Ethan spent a restless night, thoughts racing through his mind about Allura and the mistake he had unknowingly made. When morning came, he quickly got ready and rushed to the medical center where she was recovering. He hoped she was awake and willing to speak with him. At the entrance of the medical center, Ethan met one of Allura's close companions, a Valorian named Vara. She greeted him calmly, though Ethan sensed a slight tension in her gentle gaze. "Is Allura awake?" Ethan asked cautiously. Vara nodded slowly. "She is awake, but she is still recovering. Her emotions are unstable right now." Ethan felt a pang of guilt and concern. "May I see her?" he asked softly. Vara hesitated briefly before nodding. "She wishes to speak with you as well." Ethan followed Vara into a quiet room where Allura sat near a large window. The sunlight softly illuminated her pale blue skin, giving her a gentle glow. She appeared calm, but her eyes held a trace of sadness. "Ethan," she greeted him softly, her voice slightly weak, "I am glad you came." "Allura, I'm so sorry," Ethan began earnestly. "I didn't mean to cause you harm. I had no idea my words would hurt you." Allura offered him a weak smile. "I know you did not intend to harm me. Your words simply overwhelmed me." "Can you help me understand why?" Ethan asked, wanting to learn from his mistake. Allura took a slow breath before speaking. "My people value harmony greatly. Expressing deep feelings openly, such as admiration or love, is rare and powerful. When you called me beautiful, it awakened emotions that were too strong, too sudden." Ethan listened carefully, wanting to grasp the full meaning behind her explanation. "So emotions are tightly controlled?" he asked. "Yes," Allura replied softly. "We believe emotions must remain balanced. Extreme feelings can disrupt harmony." Ethan moved closer, sitting on a nearby chair. "How can I make things right, Allura? I don't want this to ruin the connection we were building." Allura studied him thoughtfully for a moment before replying. "Perhaps there is a way," she said quietly. "There is an ancient ritual my people perform in situations like this. It helps restore emotional balance, but it involves risks." "What kind of risks?" Ethan asked, concerned but determined. "The ritual will temporarily link our minds," Allura explained. "We will share thoughts and emotions deeply. If done incorrectly, it can cause confusion or even emotional pain." Ethan felt a wave of determination wash over him. "If it helps you heal and restores harmony, I'm willing to take that risk." Allura's eyes brightened slightly, sensing his sincerity. "You are truly courageous, Ethan. This means a great deal to me." Together, they informed Vara and the other Valorians about their decision. Though the elders expressed concern, they agreed to support the ritual, seeing Ethan's dedication and Allura's willingness as positive signs of their growing connection. Preparations began immediately. Ethan learned he would need to meditate and maintain a calm and open mind. He spent several hours preparing, guided by the Valorian's careful instructions. Ethan felt nervous but also confident, determined to help Allura find peace again. That evening, Ethan and Allura gathered in a tranquil chamber designed specifically for the ritual. Soft, ambient lights gently illuminated the space. Allura sat opposite. Ethan, her posture calm yet focused. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. "Yes," Ethan replied gently, his heart steady despite his nerves. They closed their eyes, guided by the Valorian's quiet chanting. Slowly, Ethan felt a strange sensation, as if his mind was gently connecting to Allura's. It was comforting yet deeply intense. Images and emotions flowed between them. Clear and vivid, Ethan sensed Allura's calm, but saw flashes of fear and sadness that had overwhelmed her earlier. He shared his own genuine feelings of respect and affection, showing her clearly that his words had been meant sincerely, without harm. As their thoughts blended, Allura began to relax. Ethan felt the powerful emotions that had overwhelmed her easing into a balanced state, soothing her distress. The ritual was challenging, yet they both remained focused, determined to support each other. After several intense minutes, the connection gently faded. Ethan slowly opened his eyes to see Allura looking at him calmly, her eyes filled with gratitude and understanding. "Thank you, Ethan," she whispered softly. "You have shown me true bravery and kindness." "I'm just happy you're okay," Ethan replied gently, feeling relieved and deeply connected to her. Allura smiled warmly, her presence calm and reassuring. "Because of you, I now understand that emotions can bring harmony too, when expressed thoughtfully and with care." Ethan nodded, feeling hopeful about their bond and the future of their species' relationship. Together, they had overcome a great challenge, emerging stronger and more united than before. The next few days passed quietly. Ethan spent much of his time learning more about Valorian customs and history. He wanted to be careful, to make sure he respected Allura's ways. Their bond had grown stronger after the ritual, and now they shared a connection that felt deeper than words. Allura had recovered well, though she remained cautious. Her people watched her closely, offering gentle support. She spoke often with Ethan, and though she remained calm and controlled, there was a warmth in her voice that had not been there before. One morning, Allura invited Ethan to a quiet walk outside the city. The sky was clear, and the fields glowed under the soft light of the twin suns. The air was fresh, and strange birds flew in slow, peaceful patterns above them. "You seem more at peace," Ethan said as they walked. Allura nodded. "I am. Sharing the ritual with you helped me understand something important." Ethan looked at her with interest. "What is that?" "That emotions, when shared gently, can create balance, not just destroy it," she said. "It was always taught to us that strong feelings bring disorder, but now I feel differently." Ethan smiled. "That makes me happy, Allura." She gave him a soft smile in return. "You are very different from what we expected humans to be." "Different in a good way, I hope," Ethan joked lightly. "Yes," Allura replied simply. "In a good way." They continued walking until they reached a quiet ridge. From there, the view stretched far into the distance, full of color and life. It was peaceful and beautiful. "This place reminds me of Earth," Ethan said softly. "Not in how it looks, but in how it feels." Allura looked at him curiously. "Tell me about Earth, about your life." There, Ethan told her about the forests, the oceans, and the changing seasons. He shared simple memories of his family, of laughter, and of cold winter mornings and warm summer nights. Allura listened closely, her eyes never leaving his. "Your world is full of emotion," she said. "It shapes your stories." "Yes," Ethan agreed. "Maybe that's why we find strength in our feelings. They connect us." There was silence between them for a moment, but it was not uncomfortable. It was calm, full of understanding. Then, slowly, Allura reached out her hand. Ethan gently took it, surprised but touched. Her fingers were cool and light, but the meaning behind the gesture was strong. "I trust you, Ethan. she said. "And I would like to learn more about what it means to feel." Ethan gave her hand a soft squeeze. "We can learn together." Later that day, Ethan was invited to speak at a small Valorian gathering. The council wanted to hear about his experience and his thoughts about their culture. He stood before a group of Valorians, with Allura seated near the front. He spoke slowly and simply, sharing what he had learned and how his time with Allura had changed him. He explained the value of understanding, of patience, and how different ideas can create something beautiful when treated with care. The Valorians listened carefully. When he finished, they remained quiet for a moment before nodding in approval. The head elder stood and addressed the group. "Ethan has shown great care and courage. He has respected our ways and helped one of our own understand something new. Let this moment be a step toward deeper unity." Allura stood as well, her voice clear and calm. "He has helped me grow, and through that, I believe our people can grow too." After the gathering, Allura and Ethan walked side by side back to their quarters. The stars were beginning to appear above them. "That was a big moment," Ethan said. "Yes," Allura agreed. "And I am proud we shared it." As they walked, a soft breeze passed between them. Ethan felt peace in his heart. He didn't know what the future would bring, but he knew this connection, this trust, was something rare and special. The Valorians and the humans were different in many ways, but now they had a reason to build something lasting, not just because of the mission, but because two people had dared to understand one another. The following day began with a quiet joy. Ethan woke with a light heart, still thinking about the peaceful night walk with Allura. Their bond had grown strong, and now there was something unspoken between them, trust, care, and a quiet closeness that needed no words. As the sun rose over the Valorian sky, Ethan met Allura near the Crystal Garden. She greeted him with a gentle smile. "Would you like to join me today at the Learning Hall?" she asked. "Of course," Ethan replied. "I'd love to." The Learning Hall was a place where Valorians shared knowledge, stories, and traditions. It was open to all, and today Allura would be teaching a class about Earth. She had asked Ethan to help. Inside the hall, soft lights glowed from the walls. Valorian students sat in quiet circles, waiting with curiosity. Allura began the class with grace, speaking about the humans and their journey to Valoria. Then she invited Ethan to speak. He stepped forward and smiled. "Thank you for welcoming me here. Today, I want to share what I've learned, not just about Valoria, but about friendship and understanding." Ethan spoke about Earth in simple words, showing pictures and telling stories of music, food, and kindness. The young Valorians listened carefully, their eyes wide with wonder. After the class, several students came forward to thank Ethan. One small Valorian girl looked up at him and said, "You speak from the heart. That is rare." Ethan smiled and nodded. "Thank you. That means a lot to me." Later that day, Allura and Ethan returned to the ridge where they had walked before. The sky was painted with soft purples and blues as the day began to end. They sat together on a smooth stone and watched the stars begin to appear. Allura turned to Ethan. "You have changed how I see things. I no longer fear strong feelings. I still value harmony, but now I believe emotions can be part of that." Ethan looked at her gently. "We've both learned a lot. You've taught me so much about balance, patience, and quiet strength." They sat in silence again, feeling the peace between them. Suddenly, a quiet alarm sounded from the distant city. Allura stood quickly. "That sound means there is trouble. We must return." Ethan followed her as they hurried back to the main buildings. At the center square, a group of Valorian leaders had gathered. One elder stepped forward. "A storm is forming in the upper atmosphere," the elder said. "It is rare, but dangerous. The winds carry strong energy. We must prepare." Allura looked at Ethan. "I must help my people organize the defense fields." "And I'll help too," Ethan said. "Tell me what to do." The next few hours were full of action. Allura directed her team with calm strength. placing protective shields and calming the citizens. Ethan worked beside her, helping build temporary shelters and carry supplies as the storm approached. The sky turned dark and loud winds swept through. The city. Lights flickered. A deep hum filled the air. Ethan stood near Allura, shielding a group of young Valorians behind a barrier. "The energy waves are strong," Allura shouted. "Hold the field." Ethan focused, using his strength to support the field generator. Sweat ran down his face, but he didn't stop. Together, they kept the barrier strong until the worst of the storm passed. Finally, the winds began to calm. The humming quieted. The sky cleared slowly. Cheers rose from the people. The shields had held. No one was hurt. Allura turned to Ethan, her eyes full of emotion. "You stayed. You fought beside us." "Of course," Ethan replied. "You're not just another mission anymore. You're my friend." She stepped closer, looking into his eyes. "More than that, Ethan, you're part of my life now." He reached out and gently took her hand. "And you're part of mine." They stood together as the stars returned above them, the city lights glowing softly in the distance. Even after all the chaos, there was peace again. That night, as they walked back through the quiet streets, the people smiled at Ethan and nodded with respect. He had proven himself not only as a visitor, but as someone who truly cared. Allura looked at him as they reached the garden path. "Tomorrow, I want to show you something special. Something I've never shared with anyone before." Ethan nodded. "I'll be there." And deep in both their hearts, they knew something had changed forever. The morning sun rose slowly over Veloria, casting a soft light across the crystal buildings and green hills. Ethan stood near the edge of the garden, waiting for Allura. He had not slept much, thinking about everything that had happened. The storm, the bond they shared, and the words they had spoken stayed in his mind. Allura arrived with quiet steps, dressed in a soft silver robe. Her calm presence brought peace to Ethan's heart. She smiled gently. "Are you ready?" she asked. "Yes," Ethan said. "You said you wanted to show me something special." Allura nodded. "Follow me." They walked through the city, past the peaceful homes and calm streets. The people greeted them with warm smiles and quiet bows. Word had spread that Ethan had helped protect the city. Now, he was no longer seen as just a visitor. He was one of them. They left the city and entered a quiet forest. The trees here were tall and glowing softly. Strange flowers opened as they passed, releasing a sweet scent into the air. Birds with soft feathers sang high in the trees. After a long walk, they reached a small clearing. In the center was a pool of clear, glowing water. Around it stood tall stones with ancient symbols. "This is the pool of truth," Allura said softly. "It is a sacred place. My people come here only when something must be spoken from the heart." Ethan looked around, amazed by the quiet beauty. "It's incredible." Allura stepped closer to the water. Her reflection shimmered gently. "I brought you here," she began, "because I want to tell you something without fear, without hiding." Ethan listened carefully, his heart beating faster. "When?" "You called me beautiful," Allura said. "I was afraid. Not because your words were wrong, but because they touched something inside me that I had never felt. My people fear strong emotion, but now I know. It can also bring great strength." She turned to him, her eyes soft. "I feel something for you, Ethan. Something I never thought I would feel." Ethan stepped closer. "I feel the same, Allura. From the moment I met you, I felt a connection. But after everything we've been through, it's more than that. I care for you deeply." Allura looked down at the pool. "Then let this place witness it. Let our truth be shared." They both placed a hand in the water. It glowed brighter, a soft light rising from its surface. Ethan felt a calm warmth in his chest, as if the pool had accepted their words. "Our people are different," Allura said, her voice steady. "But maybe that is our strength. Together, we can help them see a better way." Ethan nodded. "Let this be a beginning, not just for us, but for everyone." They left the pool hand in hand, walking back through the glowing forest. When they returned to the city, the leaders called a meeting. The people gathered in the main square, curious about the reason. Ethan and Allura stood before them. Allura spoke first. "We have something to share. Through this journey, I have learned that balance does not mean silence. Emotions, when shared with care, can bring peace." She looked at Ethan and continued, "And through this human, I have seen courage, respect, and love." There was a quiet murmur through the crowd. Ethan spoke next. "I came here to learn, and I found more than I ever expected. Allura showed me beauty, wisdom, and grace. I believe our worlds can grow stronger together." The head elder stepped forward. "You both have shown what unity can be. From this day, let our paths grow closer." Cheers rose from the crowd. The Valorians had seen the truth in their words. They saw not fear, but hope. That evening, a quiet celebration filled the city. Lights danced across the buildings, and gentle music played through the streets. People of both species shared food, laughter, and stories. Ethan and Allura walked through the garden once more, now as symbols of peace and new beginnings. The stars above sparkled brighter than ever. Allura looked at Ethan with a warm smile. "Do you think the stars will remember this night?" Ethan laughed softly. "Maybe not the stars, but we will." They stopped by a small pond, the water reflecting the glowing sky. Allura leaned her head on Ethan's shoulder. "You told me once that I was beautiful." "Yes," Ethan said. "This time," she whispered, "I believe you." And in that quiet moment, the past struggles faded. What remained was a promise of love, of learning, and of a shared future where hearts, no matter how different, could beat together as one.